So we've talked about what are the biggest risks that we face. The question would then be what are some concrete things that we could do to help minimize those risks? And I think data verification, which Lisa wants to talk about, is part
I do,
of
and
that,
so
part
and
of that
so
story.
does Grace. Grace, I believe you had a question about that.
Yes. What do you think are the most effective ways to use cryptographic tools to verify information in an information-rich environment?
So we live in this world in which we have all of this, in which we are deluged constantly with information now. Like we're the average person doesn't, in my opinion, doesn't stand a chance with the amount of information that they're being deluged every day. It's far more than any humans have ever encountered before on a daily basis, especially if you have a broadband internet access every day, and you're on your phone and you have access to social media and news outlets and things like that. And humans are really, really, really bad at being able to verify the authenticity of information. Otherwise, scammers and con artists wouldn't be pervasive throughout society, throughout history. And I think that information verification is the biggest challenge that society is going to be facing for the next few decades, more so than access to information, because people often ask me about the difference about like, oh, well, you're somebody who specializes in sort of secrecy versus transparency. I'm like, so that's a 10-year ago problem. We're not in the, we're in an age where we are in the age of radical transparency, and now it's being able to determine which information sources are valuable, which information sources are authentic, which information sources are going to be the most effective that we can get. And with AI and generative AI sort of muddying the waters even more with this sort of specialization and its grasp over human language and human interests, we're at a sort of crossroads where, how do we know, or we can essentially be gaslit at all times? We live in the sort of Baudrillardian, extreme right now, and that extreme is very immediate. And so I think that cryptography is an interesting sort of workaround, in my opinion, because one of the advantages that we have with cryptography over AI is that and I find it funny because like we're both dealing in maths, but the math is the maths are at opposite ends, are essentially at opposite ends of the spectrum, where the one limitation that artificial intelligence has is that it can't skip the process of getting around the second law of thermodynamics, which is the advantage that the modern day cryptography has, which is that it requires an enormous amount of compute power to break encryption and to get around it, and to find workarounds, and to find ways mathematically of getting past it. And so, at least where we are and where we are in our understanding, so I'm talking 2020s, 2030s sort of scenarios here, in which we can perhaps, and I think that we're at a time in which we can perhaps begin to start to think of distributed, decentralized sort of means of authenticating the sources of information, the value of information, and so forth, because we're no longer in an era where it's access to information. It's now sorting it and filtering it and identifying which information sources are valuable. And right now, we've only so far had corporate filters, and that have sent us down very, very scary directions in terms of like the information that people see on TikTok and whatnot. So that's my sort of sense.
No, it's all super important.